Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly wild story about the sheer scale of Pakistan's untapped gemstone wealth. We're going to dive into some incredible microscopic geology, talk about a staggering economic leak, and then break down a brand new national master plan that's trying to rewrite the country's economic history. Okay, let's dive right in with a number that just stops you in your tracks: $450 billion. That is the estimated value of unmined gemstones sitting beneath the mountains of Pakistan right now. We're talking about an absolute treasure trove of emeralds, rubies, and peridot that the global market has barely even seen. Just to put that into perspective, that is the kind of wealth that could completely transform a national economy overnight, yet it's currently locked away in the bedrock. So how does a nation sit on that kind of immense wealth? Here's our roadmap to figure that out. We'll start with Section 1, hunting for Swat emeralds. Then 2, a $450 billion paradox. 3, the cost of informal mining. 4, the 2026 Gemstone Master Plan. And finally, 5, building brand Pakistan.
All right, Section 1, hunting for Swat emeralds. Finding these stones takes a lot more than just digging a random hole in a mountain.
When you look at the complex geology of the Mingora area in Swat, you realize that emerald mineralization is incredibly specific. It's actually the result of low-temperature hydrothermal solutions acting on altered rocks, meaning the emeralds are heavily concentrated along very specific faults and fractures. It's basically like a giant puzzle, and finding the exact veins of emeralds hidden inside thousands of tons of barren rock is like looking for a geological needle in a haystack. Now you might be wondering, how do geologists actually pinpoint those tiny fractures? Well, they rely on things called geochemical pathfinders. Instead of looking directly for the emeralds, scientists test soil and stream sediments for specific trace elements, mainly beryllium and lithium. Since emeralds are a beryllium-based mineral, these elements act like microscopic breadcrumbs leading scientists straight to the hidden treasure. And the science on this is absolutely fascinating. When you plot out the data from these geological surveys, you can literally see anomalously high spikes of elements like beryllium and lithium perfectly highlighting the rich mineralized zones and separating them from just empty rock. The science proves absolutely without a shadow of a doubt exactly where the gems are. The wealth is undeniably there. Which brings us to Section 2, a $450 billion paradox, because the numbers here create a jaw-dropping contradiction. Just look at this contrast. As we just established, Pakistan holds an estimated $450 billion in gemstone reserves. Yet, the official documented gemstone exports? Barely $5.8 million a year. That's million with an M. The gap between what's sitting in the ground and what is officially crossing the border is just incomprehensible. Even if you take a super conservative estimate of the actual yearly export potential, which experts peg at over $2 billion annually right now, the official state revenues are capturing less than half of 1% of that. Over 99.5% of the potential value is just vanishing from the official books. So naturally, we have to ask, where is it all going? Let's get into Section 3, the cost of informal mining, to figure out exactly how this wealth is slipping through the cracks. The crazy thing is, the first major leak happens right at the source. A recent government committee found a massive infrastructural issue. Local miners are frequently using non-scientific blasting and crude drills to get the stones out. And well, you can imagine what dynamite does to a delicate gem. Rough handling destroys the product, meaning nearly 50% of the gemstones are wasted or completely shattered before they even see the sun. And for the stones that actually do survive the blast, an estimated 80% of them are shipped out completely raw and uncut. Because the whole sector is largely informal, these rough stones are routed through undocumented smuggling channels and middlemen. Ultimately, this means the real money, the value added from cutting, polishing, and jewelry design, is captured by other countries entirely.
Obviously, a drain this massive couldn't be ignored forever, which leads us to Section 4, the 2026 Gemstone Master Plan.
This didn't just happen overnight. The momentum really started building in 2024 when business leaders and chambers of commerce began sounding the alarm on these raw export losses. By 2025, a dedicated government committee ran the numbers to quantify the exact wastage and smuggling data. And finally, in January 2026, the Prime Minister gave the green light for a comprehensive 5-year National Gemstone Policy. The logic behind this policy is honestly brilliant. As officials noted, modern mining technology could substantially enhance both gemstone production and exports without discovering a single new deposit. That hits the nail right on the head.
They don't even need to find more emeralds. They literally just need to stop destroying and smuggling the ones they already know about. Fixing the extraction infrastructure alone could multiply revenue exponentially.
Which brings us to our final step, Section 5, Building Brand Pakistan. How does the government actually turn an informal, raw supplier into a certified global powerhouse?
Well, the strategy breaks down into 3 very clear steps. Step 1. Crack down heavily on the smuggling of domestic rough stones, while paradoxically making it easier to import rough stones from elsewhere. The goal there is to actually feed and build a domestic cutting industry. Step 2. Establish specialized model centers of excellence to train expert gem cutters and polishers. And Step 3. Roll out international standard testing labs and a national warranty office so the global market actually trusts their certification.
A huge part of this master plan hinges on targeting economic development directly in the areas where the reserves are located, like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Azad Jammu and Kashmir. By intentionally investing in local skills, they're elevating the workers up the value chain. If the local workforce is handling the high-end cutting and grading, the massive profit margins actually stay right there inside the country's formal economy.
The goals tied to this rollout are incredibly ambitious. By formalizing the whole sector, stopping that 50% wastage at the source, and keeping the value of the finished stones in-house, the Prime Minister's target is to boost official gemstone exports to a staggering $1 billion annually within 5 years. And remember, they're currently sitting at just $5.8 million. It's a massive leap.
Which leaves us with one final billion-dollar question to chew on. Can this massive policy push actually transform raw geological science into lasting economic triumph? These emeralds have been resting in the bedrock for millennia. Now, we're going to see if human infrastructure can finally step up to match the true value of the earth beneath it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you walked away with a whole new perspective on the true cost of hidden treasures.